Hello, lovely viewers. It's such a delight to meet with you once again for another interactive session. My name is Nanaya Amankwa, and as you know, we've been going through certain topics, and today we want to go through a very important topic called psychological games. And I want to go quickly to share my screen with you so that you can follow through the lesson. All right. So at the end of this lesson, I expect that you'll be able to understand the psychological games that people play and also be able to know the three possible characters in the games, as well as also discuss the empowerment triangle. So when we say psychological games, if you look at the image we have there, you have two people playing chess. And anybody who knows how to play the game of chess knows that it's a game of the mind, right? So in life, people also try to use their minds and they try to play on other people's intelligence as well. And that is what we call the psychological games. Good. So psychological games are emotionally charged interactions. So whenever there's a kind of interaction between you and another person, but it's emotionally charged and it's similar to a dramatic production, then we can say that it's called a psychological game. And in a psychological game, there are certain characters, and these characters can shift their roles as and when. And every time there's a psychological game, the parties actually feel worse than before. So actually, psychological games have negative impact on the players of the game. Good. So looking quickly at the characters, you notice that from the diagram, we have, from the image there, we have the persecutor, we have the rescuer, and the victim, the persecutor, the rescuer, and the victim. So these three players actually engage in the psychological game. What it means is that at any point in time, two people can play the role. So somebody can decide to be a persecutor at some point or a rescuer, and then there are people who are also known to be victims. Okay, now those who pose or behave as persecutors, what they do is that they're always criticizing others. If you have somebody around you who is always judging, always finding ways and means to hurt you, and always pushing every blame onto you, then that person can be called a persecutor. And such a person is just playing a psychological game on your mind. Okay, they feel that you are not better off, you can't do anything, every time you make you do something, it's an error, they don't see anything good in you. So such people always try to bring down your worth, they try to make you look as if you don't matter. Okay, so if you have anybody or any person who is close to you in your circle, and that person is constantly trying to hurt you, trying to push blames on you, then that person is actually a persecutor. Now, the next person that we can talk about is the rescuer. These people who pose to be rescuers look as though they are helping us. They try as much as possible not to allow you to do anything. So, in your mind, you might think that they are helping you, but the reality of the matter is that they feel that you are not capable of doing anything right. So at every point in time, they want to be the ones to do things for you. So you have a letter to write at work, and all they keep saying is that bring it, let me write it for you. If somebody keeps doing that to you, the person is being a rescuer, and it's a psychological game the person is playing. Because at the end of the day, the person makes you feel that you can't do anything by yourself. And when they help you to do what you are supposed to do, by rather than teaching you and taking you through the process of doing it, they rather take the things from you outrightly. They don't coach you, they don't mentor you, they are always interested in just doing things for you, they actually feel superior. So these are the people that we call rescuers. Okay, most of us find ourselves being either persecutors or rescuers. And the last group that we have is the victims. These victims always look down on themselves. They always feel helpless and hopeless. They complain a lot. If you are with a victim, every minute of their lives is meant for complaining. And they always try to manipulate others. They feel that they can't do anything on their own. So at every point in their lives, they feel that they need somebody to be able to do what they have to do. And they always try to avoid responsibilities. Okay, and this, I mean, buttresses or makes them feel more inferior. So at every point in time, the victims will call in and think that, oh, I feel rejected, I feel hopeless, nobody loves me. So these people are what the people that we call the victims in the psychological game. All right. So you look at this image, you have the persecutor there. At every point in time, the persecutor is controlling. He's always angry. He's always an authoritarian and very rigid and superior. So they look at themselves as people who deserve the front line, and nobody else deserves the hearing. At every point in time, they should be heard rather than others. Okay, and then they always make people feel so bad. You have certain bosses, you have certain senior or younger siblings, you have certain parents around, certain friends at church, at school, in your neighborhood who are persecutors. Okay, they actually find joy in making you feel bad. And I mean, anytime they push blames on you or they point fingers at you, they feel superior. So those people are persecutors, just uttering words that will hurt your feelings at every point in time. There are people in certain relationships with such persecutors. There are people in your offices here and there. So you find them everywhere. The next, look at the victims. In this life, victims feel that even if they try, they can't do anything. Okay, and this actually affects every other thing that they do, their output in every area, because they actually feel that they are victims. Okay, and they pretend and behave as if they are actually victims. And then the rescuers, all they say every time is, let me help you. So at every point in time, rescuers are willing to help, not because they want you to develop yourself, but because they want to feel superior by helping. So when they help, the emphasis is on being the best rather than making you to also come up. So instead of showing you the way, showing you how to do what they do, they rather prefer to do the things that you are supposed to do. And that helps them to feel better. They feel others cannot do anything without them. And that is a very serious position. Good. So if we are saying that the psychological games that people play in life have negative impacts on their lives, how can we change this psychological game into a better game? I mean, a better way of, and what we call that is empowerment triangle. Okay, the drama, from drama to empowerment. So you move from the psychological games to the empowerment triangle. So if you look at the two triangles that we have there, you have Kapman's drama triangle and then the Coy winner triangle. So the winner triangle is the empowerment triangle, where you change positions. So in this triangle, what we are saying is that the persecutor now becomes assertive. Okay, instead of being a rescuer, you become caring, and instead of being a victim, you become vulnerable. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So the empowerment dynamics says that the victim has to be a creator now. So if you look at the triangles, the two triangles down there, so I mean, one at the top, one below. So the victim should rather become a creator. Okay, that's the third empowerment triangle. Okay, the empowerment dynamic. So you try as much as possible to become a creator. find ways and means of doing new things. And then the persecutor becomes a challenger. So instead of always criticizing people, push them rather to do the right thing, rather than condemning every single thing they do. And then the rescuer becomes a coach. Okay, and at the top there, you see the triangle at the top, the empowerment dynamic. You find that it is passion-based and outcome-focused. It's always passion-based and outcome-focused, whilst the dreaded drama triangle is anxiety-based and problem-focused. So this is what we can do to actually move ourselves from the psychological games that people play. We have to rather become, those of us who always find ourselves being victims must rather become creators. Those who are always persecuting others should rather find themselves becoming challengers, whilst the rescuer becomes the coach. I believe we are able to understand this clearly. Good. So that is what we have. Now, one of the things that we want to say is that you want to take responsibility, and at every point in time, try to move out of the drama triangle. When you find yourself in a kind of drama where somebody is trying to play such a game on your mind, as quickly as possible, identify it and move out of that triangle. Always find yourself in the empowerment dynamic or the empowerment triangle, where you are not a victim, where you are not a persecutor or a rescuer, but rather a creator, a challenger. And I believe that that will go a long way to help us. And in conclusion, life is a mind game. Decide what game you're going to play with your mind. So your mind is a place that you can't joke with. It's something that every time the wars of life, the battles of life are fought in your mind. And therefore, there's a need for you to, at every point in time, take a hold of your mind. Don't play or allow others to play psychological games with your mind. Thank you. These are the references. Thank you so much. I'll be glad to have your questions at any point in time as you watch this video. If you don't understand anything, kindly jot it down and let me have it. Thank you so much and enjoy your day.